Dwayne Haskins trade destinations coming at you here on NFL Daily. I love these type of videos, Tom. And if you love chat sports, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about the latest and the future of Dwayne Haskins. Obviously was demoted this week. No longer the starter in Washington. Third string today at practice. Didn't get any reps either. Oh, boy.
It's very weird, and it's really unusual to see a top 15 pick who was clearly supposed to be the guy for this team, go not just from bench to you're not even going to be active.
I know.
Like maybe there's more going on than we're not really aware with, but he's not the future anymore. The second you make the move to bench Haskins for Kyle Allen,
bye-bye,
and to promote broken Alex Smith and make him the third stringer, you're telegraphing he's not our guy anymore. In fact, you're almost asking teams to say, you know what, why don't you make an offer here? The reality is Haskins has not been very good.
Yep.
In fact, he's frankly been bad. Now, you can argue that some of that is due to a bad offensive line, a bad supporting cast, but there have been some bad decisions, some bad footwork, technique issues, accuracy problems, decision-making, the lack of ability to create on his own, which is what you want your franchise quarterback to do. He's been bad. So I think that despite him being a first-round pick, the value is not going to be great. But there will be, I think, teams that could call him.
See, I think the biggest issue here for Washington is as soon as you demote him, his trade value goes down. If your move was to move on from him, maybe you should have looked to trade him before you demoted him, because as soon as that happened, his value goes down.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, I think teams, if you start calling around about Dwayne Haskins, the value is going to be low. So.
All right, guys, let us know here. Should Washington trade Dwayne Haskins? We want you to type a Y for yes, type N for no. I'm looking right now in the live chat, and there are right now a lot of yeses. If you didn't join us for our live show, remember, we go live on NFL Daily every Monday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Number 6 here on our Dwayne Haskins trade destinations, the Las Vegas Raiders. Pretty interesting considering the fact that the Raiders obviously have Carr, but it's the backup quarterback situation here, which is why they made the list.
Yeah, for me it comes down to this is not a Derek Carr replacement, you know?
Correct.
This is not going to be someone that you trade for and you start him right away.
Yep.
What I think you're looking for here and what most teams are going to be searching for is, can we A, have an upgraded backup?
Okay.
Can we B, find someone to develop? Now, allegedly, the Raiders liked Haskins in the draft.
Most teams did.
I thought that was smoke, like in terms of, it might go number 4. I'm pretty sure it was a smoke screen there.
John Gruden has never had a quarterback that he didn't like.
But when you look at, that's true. When you look at the Raiders depth chart, Mitch, Marcus Mariota, can't even stay healthy.
He is making a lot of money, though. That's the issue.
And the GOAT, Nathan Peterman.
Oh, my Lord, the GOAT. Get out of here. So the issue here is with the Raiders, you don't really know if they're fully committed to Derek Carr going forward based on what happens this year. But I do know that Mariota, his contract is tough to move on from. Mm-hmm. So it is pretty interesting that they have made the list. But when you look at the numbers, I don't have a lot of confidence in Marcus. I also don't have a lot of confidence in Haskins. But we do know John Gruden thinks of himself as a quarterback whisperer.
Sure.
You could potentially make the move.
I think for the Raiders and, of course, for every single NFL team that could discuss this really comes down to the trade value.
Yep.
At a certain point, you'd be like, yeah, sure, we'll trade you our 6th-round pick for Dwayne Haskins. But what do you think his trade value is, Mitch? Because I'm curious your thoughts here.
Honestly, Tom, I don't know. So I'm going to ask the audience instead, what is Dwayne Haskins' trade value? Because to me, it is one big shrug emoji. I know what Josh Rosen went for. That hasn't worked out whatsoever. Yeah, that hasn't worked out whatsoever. With Haskins, I would be surprised if they get anything more than a 3rd, 4th, 5th.
I think 3rd is probably what you would be hoping to find a way to get.
I don't see that happening.
I don't think you would. I think you would get a 4th from somebody for sure, but maybe you're better off keeping him for the time being. Maybe an offseason trade makes more sense. Maybe a 3rd-round pick right now, or even if a team ponies up a 2nd-round pick, might be enough for Washington to say, yeah, let's pull the trigger right now.
So here's some other teams that we considered throwing on the video. You got the Minnesota Vikings, Titans, Seahawks, Cardinals, Chiefs. A lot of those teams, again, have a need at backup.
Yeah, these are other teams. I'm grouping them in the we had a guy, or we have a guy, or we paid a guy, but depth's a problem. So some of those teams you actually saw mentioned on our Mitchell Trubisky trade destinations video. Those are two different styles of quarterbacks.
Yep.
One can move, one can't move, so we're getting different backup options for these teams here. When this type of stuff happens, folks, we'll put out a video for you. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss a single thing around the NFL. News, rumors, trades, injuries, all of it. We cover it right here.
At number 5 in our Dwayne Haskins trade destinations, the Atlanta Falcons, who are sitting right now at an ugly 0-4.
So my mindset with this one was to get a little bit creative. The Falcons are going to be in, we could potentially take a quarterback in round 1 territory.
Okay.
They're also going to be in, we can get 2 more years out of Matt Ryan.
Yep.
Like, that is very reasonable. So my idea of including Atlanta here was to meet in the middle. If you trade a day 2 or an early day 3 pick for Haskins, that would allow you to spend your other draft picks on assets to build around Matt Ryan for one last run while trying to develop Haskins behind him.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a unique idea, I think, but it might make just enough sense. The problem is your decision maker with Haskins in terms of a trade might not be there.
Correct. Dan
for
Quinn.
next season, both Dan Quinn and GM Thomas Dimitroff. So if you want to build around Matt Ryan while kind of hedging your bet a little bit here, I actually think a Haskins trade could make sense for them.
Okay. Well, Dwayne Haskins, I'll tell you what, him going to the Atlanta Falcons, I think it'd be at least pretty interesting. Also interesting, Tom, this Julio Jones jersey, only $50 right now.
Under $50.
Under $50.
Because it's the old one.
Woo!
But it's awesome.
I mean,
I like this Julio jersey.
We're hooking you guys up with NFL jerseys under $80 or that Julio one under $50. The way you do it, get it, is by going to chatsports.com/jersey deal. Now, there's hundreds of jerseys here, right? And it's for all 32 teams and all sizes, all different colors. There's even color rush ones available. Bottom line is we're just trying to hook you up with a deal. And the thing that I love about this deal is the the jersey insurance.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say you were a Washington fan. You got a Dwayne Haskins jersey. He gets traded.
If he just did, yeah.
Guess what? You're going to get a free one because of the trade jersey insurance. So, chatsports.com/jersey deal is how you get one. It's in the comments and it's in the description.
Yeah, so I think it's a really good offer here by Fanatics. And these jersey deals, they're not always available at this price tag, Mitch. Sometimes they're a little bit higher. Sometimes they're a little bit lower. But you're not going to find a better deal out there than that one.
Next team up here is the New England Patriots at number 4 in our Dwayne Haskins trade destinations video.
Again, if you're looking for a developmental spot for Dwayne Haskins, is there a better one than New England, Mitch?
Probably not.
Now,
Probably not.
And I'll take it one step further. Isn't Haskins better than their current backup quarterbacks?
It's not even close. We just witnessed that this past week.
Now, I know it was a short time frame for adjustments, and Haskins takes some time to learn the playbook and all of that kind of stuff. But Jarrett Stidham was horrible. I mean, he looked like
he was so bad.
It wasn't even – I mean, it is very rare to have a completion percentage that also ends up being below your quarterback rating, and they're both under 40.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that very often. Stidham was an absolute dumpster fire. Brian Hoyer had the awareness of a dead rat. Like, it was disgusting. So why not trade for him? Why not make him your new backup quarterback and just cut Hoyer or Stidham?
I'm with you. I have no disagreements whatsoever, and we've been able to see how much of a difference a quarterback can make. I mean, Cam Newton's been a lot of fun, and you know what? If I'm Cam Newton, I would love to put Dwayne Haskins under my wing and say, you know what, man, let me help you out, because I know in the future, hey,
it would be a very different offense versus the Newton one and the Haskins one in terms of play style. It would probably be more like the Brady one for Haskins.
At number 3, the Indianapolis Colts, and obviously Phillip Rivers. I mean, from week 1 to where they are now, totally, totally different. My only concern here is Dwayne Haskins like a Jacoby Brissett?
Well, maybe. Is he like a Jacob Eason too?
Maybe.
Like, my mindset here for the Colts is Brissett is not your long-term guy.
Correct.
We know that. Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback right now than Haskins, but he's in his late 30s, so he's not your long-term guy. Jacob Eason was a 4th-round pick. If you'd asked someone at the beginning of this year, who would you rather have, Haskins or Eason, you would have definitely picked Haskins. So if you could find a way, again, to give up that kind of round 4 flyer quarterback pick, maybe that's what Haskins ends up being here in terms of trade value, I would rather have Haskins than I would have Eason. Now, Eason, I think, might have more upside because of his arm strength.
Both Washington
But Eason
quarterbacks.
also didn't technically Washington. Yes, good joke there. Eason didn't show me a ton of accuracy. Haskins has shown me a little bit more. Neither have been that great.
Well, I want you to show me your votes. DH for Dwayne Haskins or JE for Jacob Eason. Pick who is the better quarterback. Tampa Bay Buccaneers time at number 2 in our Dwayne Haskins trade destinations. I mean, if I'm Haskins, sign me up. Let me go learn behind Tom Brady.
I don't think Josh Rosen like that, but we'll get to him in a second.
Oh,
So,
boy.
again, learning behind Brady, good idea. Learning under Bruce Arians, also a good idea.
Correct.
Tampa could become the island of misfit quarterbacks who never really were set up for success with their respective NFL teams. They have Tom Brady. That was, of course, not the case there. You got Blaine Gabbert as the backup. Ryan Griffin is still on that team. And remember, Josh Rosen is on the practice squad right now for Tampa, trying to develop a little bit.
Sure.
Now, again, cost matters for a trade.
Maybe develop a lot of it.
Maybe they all have to develop quite a bit here.
That's true.
But I mean, I think sitting and learning behind Brady in Tampa is a better spot than both of these quarterbacks have had so far. Haskins getting traded would be getting Josh Rosen, by the way.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good little fun debate here.
All right, so let's have a master debate here. DH for
No.
Dwayne Haskins or JR for Josh Rosen. Who would you rather have? And I know you were actually a big fan of Rosen coming out of
And
UCLA.
I didn't mind Haskins either.
But I am still going to go with Dwayne Haskins because I have seen Josh Rosen. I've seen Josh Rosen on two teams. Sure, the Cardinals and the Dolphins at the time, not great. I am a still believer, though, that Haskins has a little bit more.
I think the answer is Haskins here because someone would trade something for Haskins right now.
True.
No one traded anything for Josh Rosen, so I think the correct answer here is DH.
Absolutely love number 1 here, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the fit Dwayne Haskins learning behind a big quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger makes too much sense.
I don't know about too much. I think it makes the proper amount of sense there, Mitch.
Too much sense.
Look, again, I'm trying to fill one of two spots here. A, let's upgrade the backup quarterback spot.
Okay.
Or B, have a better long-term guy that can take some time to develop. That's Pittsburgh to a T.
Yep.
The Steelers, God forbid Big Ben gets hurt again, season's over.
Yeah.
Because Mason Rudolph sucks. Sorry, Dylan. Joshua Dobbs, the alien himself, who's also a genius, is not a good football player. Duck Hodges sucks too. Haskins is better than all three of those guys. And long term, he's still on a cheap-ish contract relative to other players. So you would be able to have Big Ben play out his contract.
Correct.
And get a lot of insight into Haskins behind the scenes and the sidelines on practices in, whatever, if the preseason ever comes back, to get a chance to see if he can be your guy long term. And if he's not, so you give a 3rd-round pick, well, that's okay because you've wasted a bunch of mid-round picks in recent years on quarterbacks anyway. Let's try one that was a 1st-rounder. I think Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense for Haskins if Washington decides to trade him right now.